One step at a time. Welcome back to Rowan's Revenue Review. Today's lesson, unemployment. There is only one official definition of unemployment: people who are jobless, actively seeking work, and available to take a job. The official unemployment rate for the nation is the number of unemployed as a percentage of the labor force, or the sum of the employed and unemployed. Thus, one calculates the unemployment rate by dividing the number of unemployed people by the size of the overall workforce and multiplying this value by 100. Measuring unemployment accurately is made difficult because of imperfect knowledge. Not all instances of unemployment are recorded, and some records of unemployment may not be accurate. Because the unemployed are eligible for benefits, some individuals may choose not to work, and they will not disclose that, and they will claim the benefit. This is added to factors such as underemployment, when a person is employed in a way that they don't utilize their potential to work. It is an average value, thus ignoring external factors such as age, ethnicity, and region, so its true value isn't perfectly weighed against the real circumstances of a population. Unemployment that lasts longer than 6 months poses extreme risks and costs for an individual and an economy. That is why certain unemployment benefit programs expire after a mandated amount of time in a government, for example, 6 months. One of these consequences is the loss of income within an economy. Unemployment normally results in loss of income. The majority of the unemployed experience a decline in their living standards and are worse off out of work. That leads to a decline in spending power and the rise of falling into debt programs. The unemployed, for example, may find it difficult to keep up with their mortgage repayments because they have no formal way of income. A second consequence of unemployment would be the loss of national output. Unemployment involves a loss of potential national output, i.e. GDP operating well below its potential, and is a waste of scarce resources. If some people choose to leave the labor market permanently because they've lost the motivation to search for work, this can have a negative effect on the long-run aggregate supply, and thereby damage the economy's growth potential. Some economists call this the hysteris. A second consequence of unemployment would be the loss of national output. Unemployment involves a loss of potential national output, i.e. GDP operating well below potential, and is a waste of scarce resources. If some people choose to leave the labor market permanently, due to the loss of motivation to search for work, this can have a negative effect on the long-run aggregate supply and thereby damage the economy's growth potential. When unemployment is high, there will be an increase in spare capacity. In other words, the output gap will become negative, and this can have deflationary forces on prices, profits, and output. An additional consequence of unemployment will be the government costs. The government loses out because of a fall in tax revenues and higher spending on welfare payments for families with unemployed people. This can result in a higher deficit, which may increase the risk that the government will have to raise taxation or scale back plans for public spending on public and merit goods. The problem facing the UK government, for example, at the moment, is closely linked to the surge in unemployment. Finally, a consequence of unemployment will be the social costs, not just the government costs. The rising unemployment which is linked to social deprivation. For example, there is a relationship with crime and social dislocation, including increased divorce rates, worsening health, and lower life expectancy. Regions that suffer from persistently high long-term unemployment see falling incomes and widening of inequality of income and wealth. There are three main types of unemployment: structural, frictional, and cyclical. The first two make up the natural unemployment rate. The third rises when demand falls, usually during a recession. Some economists define as many as 6 additional types of unemployment, such as seasonal and classical. Frictional unemployment: workers who are temporarily between jobs or starting to look for a first job. Structural unemployment: a mismatch between people and jobs. This type of unemployment occurs primarily because of gradual changes in the economy. Cyclical unemployment: due to the fluctuations in output and spending, causes unemployment to rise and fall. Seasonal unemployment: Canadian industries such as agriculture, construction, and tourism, or just jobs that are only operating at one time during the
Hey, thanks for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.